Good day, Alaskans. This is Governor Dunleavy, and I just wanted to talk to you briefly about a couple things that have happened and what we're looking at for the future here in the state of Alaska. About a week and a half ago, I went to Japan for a couple reasons. Japan was initially our first LNG buyer in North America, and we were celebrating the 50th anniversary of that sale of LNG out of Nikiski. We also went over to Japan to talk about the possibility of more gas through a pipeline coming down the TAPS corridor into Nikiski as well, but also the possibility of lifting gas off the slope. And there were pretty good conversations with Japanese officials on this. We also talked about our seafood industry. Japan is the largest buyer of our seafood, and ways that we can expand that. And we also had conversations with officials in Japan briefly about the possibility of agriculture, Alaska potentially growing some agriculture products or raising some agriculture products for Japan. So it was a quick trip. We'll see. We believe that we made some progress, and we'll be reporting that in the future as well. Also wanted to talk about how our economy is doing here in Alaska. So some new statistics have come out, and I just want to relay them to you. Wages are up 4% in Alaska. We now have record unemployment in the state of Alaska. GDP growth for the second quarter, the first quarter was about 3.6%. The second quarter is now at 4.1%. So our gross domestic product keeps growing, which is good news. Again, record low employment. Our job growth jumped in September by about 2,000 jobs. So this is good news. So we're heading in the right direction in terms of the economy. We're catching up a little bit with the lower 48 that's been doing pretty well with their economy for years. Also wanted to talk about, I went on a celebration in down in Kodiak on a Fognak Island. We had several wounded warriors come to Alaska. These are individuals that fought for our country and paid a pretty heavy price. These three individuals were wheel-bound, and they came up to Fognak Island to do a hunt. It's probably the only place they could have done the hunt. And I was invited to go down and spend time with these warriors. We were also going to do a celebration, a remembrance, I should say, of Veterans Day in Uzinki, the village of Uzinki. The weather didn't cooperate, but for me, it was a thrill to be with these veterans. As many of you did, I also remembered what our veterans did on November 11th for this country and what they continue to do for our country. Also want to talk about the District 25 appointment. As we know, when Senator Birch passed, we filled the his Senate position with Representative Rivak. We now have to fill that position with an individual from District 25. We have three names that were forwarded to us by the district. We'll be interviewing those individuals here shortly, and we hope to be able to make an announcement as to who we're looking at for the House Republicans to consider to fill Representative Rivak's seat sooner than later. And tomorrow is graduation for our law enforcement, our troopers in Sitka. And I just want to also let folks know that we have more applicants this year than we have in the past several years to become law enforcement officers and troopers in Alaska. And so this is good news. So on the public safety front, things are looking up. On the economic front, things are looking up. We're going to be filling a seat that's open in the House, and we're preparing for this year's budget. And I wanted to say something very briefly on that budget. This year we're going to be getting out. I'm going to personally be getting out to all corners of the state to sit down and talk with Alaskans. We're going to have town hall meetings. We're going to be doing Facebook Lives as to what you want to see done with the budget and the future fiscal issues for the state of Alaska. As we know, last year we had a number of budget reductions, almost $600 million. And this caused some concern amongst many Alaskans. Some Alaskans felt that we had gone too far. Some Alaskans felt we didn't go far enough. And as we've said, Alaska is a diverse state. But this year we have time. And I want to make sure that as we go through this process that we get it right with Alaskans. How much do we want to reduce? Are Alaskans willing to look at revenue measures? We still have a large fiscal gap that needs to be closed. As soon as we close this gap, I think we're going to see more investment in the state of Alaska. We'll have some certainty going forward, but we still need to have the discussions as to how we want to go about this process. By law, we'll be rolling out a budget no later than December 15th. But we're going to start those discussions, and we've had discussions with individual Alaskans and groups already, but we're going to have more discussions throughout this process. And when we do roll out that budget, we'll continue those discussions with Alaskans so everyone is informed and has given us your feedback as to where you want to see the state of Alaska go. So with that, I want to thank you for your time, and we'll continue to update you as to what's happening here in the state of Alaska. Have a great day.